All right, are we there? Can you hear me? It's an honor to be here again. I am in South Carolina visiting my mother, and they let me in. It's a big deal during this time, So I wanted to grab the opportunity. I understand that Eagle Cloud has been taking you through a series of love. What is love? Well, that's right up my ballgame. We know that, I think last time I was here, we talked about the journey to love. But before we go there, we need to do the prayer for the four directions. So if everybody would just take a moment, close their eyes, and feel the space around you. We're not in one building like we used to be, and many people will be joining after the fact to, participate at when it works for them, which is just the beauty of technology. It's very important to call in energetically from our hearts the spirit guides for all the four dimensions, the divine beings of the four dimensions for protection, unity, power, empowerment. So I call in this moment the spirit guide, the ancestors, the divine beings of the north to maintain our consciousness, our purity, our heart sense of love and the divine. And however we experience that, I call upon the spirit guide of the east to hold strong our physical body so that we can be in appreciation of it more and more, and it can be aligned with that part of us that is north. I call upon the spirit guides and the divine beings of the west to hold our psychological, cognitive health in clarity, purity, and awareness so that our physical body can be strong and our spiritual consciousness can elevate. And I call upon spirit guides, the ancestors, and the divine beings of the south to keep us grounded and rooted in one with all things as we circle the medicine wheel to come to the center that is one, that is each and every one of us, and all together. May you please keep us safe, strong, our families safe and strong, our hearts pure, and our consciousness in clarity. May each of your higher selves that are here now or will listen later receive the prayers, the blessings, the meditations, the vibrations, and the teachings that are coming through me today for you. May you receive them in the way that you need them in your highest good. May you remember them in the way you need to remember them, always in your highest good. And may the healings, the shifa, come through you only in your highest good. Amen. If I told you of a land of love, would you take it as a remedy? If I told you of a land of love, would you take it as a remedy? If I told you of a land of love, would you take it as a remedy? That just bores into our soul with such resonant truth. And for those of us that process with our hearts, we can feel that vibration. And for those of us that process with our mind, we can feel its truth. We talk about love. Love is written always in every religion, every mystical text. And yet, what is agape? Today's topic is about agape. So you've worked with storge, philia, and eros, and today's agape. I love that word. I've always loved that word from the moment I heard it. I heard that word first time I read Plato's Republic in college. I just loved reading those things. I still do. But I love the way it rolled off my tongue, like it was the only love I wanted to really know about. Like I wanted to understand fraternal love and understand the ways in which we are in the world. But agape, it carries those sounds of creation. The ahs, right? The Allah, God, Buddha. Wayne Dyer's Ah Om meditation given by my guru, Dr. Pillai. Agape, it is a love of creation. The sounds themselves speak to that. So what does that mean? Well, it kind of means E equals MC squared. Energy is mass times speed of light squared. the Heart Math Institute many, many years ago, I think maybe 30, it's been a while, they were the first ones to really start measuring the vibration coming from the heart. The mystics, however, have always said that what is in our heart, what is in our love vibration, is the prayer that will manifest, is the intention that will manifest. So it gives off an energy based on what they've studied and now so many others. But it just brings us full circle on that medicine wheel to early beginnings, early mysticism and spirituality and all religion, that love, that heart-centered experience is creation, agape, isn't just an explanation, description, and definition of love. It is the creation that love can bring. You know, if I told you of a land of love, would you take it as remedy? We've always, I think, in our hearts, believed that love heals all things. So, on a personal note, my greatest despair moment, I'll never forget it. I was hiking because, that's my being. And I was really wrapped up in why all of this love, like I had this vision of myself sprinkling love dust all around the world, why it hadn't changed another, why it didn't heal. And it was such despair for me. And the answer came. It has to be received. If I took you to a land of love, would you take it as a remedy? Not everybody receives that love. We're like Teflon because of life experiences. We've been hurt. The older we get, the more that accumulates. So how do we enter back into that space? My favorite Sufi poet, Yunus Emre, he's Turkish. He, unlike Rumi, who wrote all of his poems in Persian, Yunus Emre spoke them in Turkish, so that speaks to my mother tongue, And he says, I am the drop that holds the entire ocean. We often think about me being a drop of the ocean. Think about that. I told a story, I think, last time I was here, of God's question of, I am so massive, I am omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, in all ways. I'm so big, I created everything that is here. Where am I going to reside where I can be found? Where am I going to reside? I can't be in the mountains, I'm too big. I can't be in the trees and the oceans, I'm too massive, I'm too big. Where can I reside where I can be found? I can reside in the heart of the devotee who loves me. I am the drop that holds the entire ocean. That is agape. How do we get back there? We spend so much time up here. I want to read a little bit. I'm going to read Corinthians. I'm going to give you a couple of quotes from other mystics because I think it's important to speak to our mind as well as our heart. So Corinthians 13 describes love as, and by extension of God, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Hold that one. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So these are intellectual concepts for us. We still have to get it here. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. So when we've been hurt, when we're reared of generations and generations of family genetic history, karmic genetic history, we have within ourselves and our molecules injustice, hurt, pain, wounds, bad behaviors, bad thoughts. Because we're this paradox. We're this human flesh with all this incredible sensory pleasure and yet so much pain. And our brain is wired to hold the pain so as to keep us alive and safe, right? Survival of the fittest. Yet the goal to true joy is a place of clarity and of love. So what if we held that love just for love's sake? How do we do that? So what does Buddha say? Buddha says the way we do that. Sorry, let me get it. Love is not an emotion. It's your very existence. And that one is where we are today. How do we stand truth in love? Even when we have resentment and pain and, we see somebody, it reminds us like we can't stop the 30 to 50 thoughts of usually negativity because it's running our karmic stories. But we can catch it. We can catch it. So the fail of law of attraction is it stops here. It's not just a framework. The real answer is here. Prayers that are prayed, intentions that are set with trust and love, and then the letting go, right? That non-attachment. We just say it, we desire it, we want it, and it appears. Because in that space of agape, in that space of purity, in that space of love, everything changes because the vibrations change, the aura changes, right? The color of our aura changes immediately. Those of you that can read auras have probably seen mine today already. Shift from cognitive aura to light aura. I can see it and sense it in all of you. It depends on where we're functioning from. It's like the blender, slow, medium, fast, right? High, low. We hit a button. The highest button is here, but this is the one that gets wounded and shuts down. What we've lost track of is that when we close our heart to one thing, it's closed. And many of you maybe have experienced knowing that you love, you believing that you love, and yet it's like harder.
I didn't understand that.
That was Bixby. It was harder. It's harder, right? So I'm going to help us get there, and then I'm going to come back and talk some more. So if you would please close your eyes and find your feet. And we're going to let the divine come in and guide us. So most of you should be feeling like getting some pressure around your third eye because there's a resonance to this today. You're feeling the strength of the vibration of the word agape. Agape. So we're going to take that word. We're going to put it in our heart. So as your eyes are closed, I'm going to give you a little bit of information, and then we're going to go into sound meditation. Seems. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So all religions, all spiritual tradition has sound, right? The beating of the drum, which is very familiar to mother's heartbeat for the baby in the womb. When we hold a baby or a small puppy or a kitten, our heart just bursts open and there's a strength along with a softness that comes. That is the space that allows us to have clarity, to manifest what we want, and to let go of the judgment that makes us old and sick, the accumulation of genetic as well, of course, karmic, but the accumulation of life force, life experience that builds in the negative. Remember, if I told you of a land of love, would you take it as a remedy? That's the key, right? We want the remedy of love so that those things lift. And 20-year-olds can feel as old as an 80-year-old because it depends on what's building here. So all of the traditions have sounds within their own language, within their own musical instrument. The ney for the Sufis, the flute for Native Americans, the drums for all indigenous people, the choirs, right? The gospel choirs. The monks, the Gregorian monks, they chanted the solfeggio frequencies. You don't have to be Catholic to appreciate the vibration of the Gregorian monks or the Buddhist monks and so forth. One word is usually enough. It could be Om, right? All of creation. It could be agape. today we're going to use agape, as long because the word holds creation sounds. So keep your eyes closed, because we know, as Krishna Das has often said, as his guru has said, the Kurli Baba, that if you chant the divine name, and all divine names are about sounds, if you chant the divine name, everything starts falling away, and all that's left is truth. And truth lives here, remember. Truth lives here. Because truth is the drop that holds the entire ocean. So those of us that are healers, and those of you that have just healed through love, know that when a resonant truth happens within our being, our heart does something. So we're going to choose agape. But we're also going to do, remember that movement we've worked with before? We're going to change that a little. So I guess you have to, sorry, the divine's guiding this. Open your eyes for a moment. And so just watch me. You can just do a rock, you know? Baby in the womb, little rock. So it's like, agape, agape, agape. Okay? So whatever little gentle movement, very gentle, because that confuses a little bit the brain. I'm going to tell you a mystic secret. It confuses the brain waves just enough and puts our body instantly into a heartbeat. Okay? So, I'm going to say it out loud. You can say it out loud if you're more comfortable internally, but pay attention to the vibration within and without, around you, inside of you. We're going to do this probably about 2 minutes. I'm going to look at time. All right, ready? Agape, agape. Agape, 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 agape. 3 more. Agape, agape, agape. Don't move. Feel the vibration in your body. Look around. Experience your body. Now, each of you will have had a different experience, but I can tell you there's a vibration, there's a trembling, because this is what the goddess is telling you. And you can feel something here. And just stay in that space, and let me go back to some poetry, okay? Because, you know, the truth lives in symbolism. It lives in our internal process. It doesn't live in concrete words. So here we are. Rumi said that when I am with you, any divine being that you devote to, it's the same thing because they have all said it. When I am with you, everything is prayer. And when I am with you in your heart, all prayers are answered. So think about that. You know, mindfulness and being present, being here now, all of these things, of course, right on, perfect. Everything has its cultural context. Everybody attracts their own way and is attracted to. But at the core of it all, at the core of it all, is hold divinity, hold love. Your word can be love. We used agape in the sounds of the creation. It can be God, it can be Jesus, it can be Moses, it can be Buddha, it can be the sun in terms of Ra, or any way that you want to speak it. But whatever you hold in devotion in your heart is mindfulness when it's there all the time. You see? So working to be mindful is much less effective, not wrong, because we want to incorporate that. It's very important. But by itself, just like law of attraction by itself, activating this, which we did somewhat today, is the key. I want to wrap with a story. You know, it's been a tough time for healers and therapists, and Eagle Cloud sent me an article about burnout. I was like, oh yeah. It's been very hard because as empaths, as you know, the world's been pretty chaotic. Now, that's not an accident. This is a time where out of chaos comes birth. This is where the Hindus say the Kali Yuga is ending and the Santa Yuga is beginning. So the era of darkness and suffering is ending, and the era of golden light is beginning. Now, the mystics of old, when they talk about eras, they kind of all come to this time. But only out of chaos can something new be born. So we're in that chaos. So our job is to hold our space, our energy, in devotion, in heart. Because remember now, research says that that can go out miles and miles and miles. So if we're raging and we're judging, we're affecting the whole world. But if we can stay here in purity. So I asked an elder, an indigenous person that helps teach me, who lives still on the land of her Native American ancestors. I asked her, how can I keep myself from being bogged down? Because when I'm hitting too much, I shut down and I go numb and I can't access here, and then something feels like it's dying. I think you guys can relate to that. So I'm going to end with this story of what she told me, and it is so beautiful. She said, the eagle flies high. No other birds attack the eagle except for the crow. And the crows will come in droves and they'll peck at the eagle. Eagle doesn't beak back, doesn't wing back, doesn't fly a different direction. The eagle goes higher. And the crows follow, and they're pecking, and the eagle flies higher and higher and higher, till eventually the crows start suffocating because they can't be at the height of the purity and the magnificence and the majesticness of an eagle. So our job isn't to stay here and do this. Our job is to activate our heart and go up like the eagle. If I told you of a land of love, would you use it as the remedy? I thank you for your time today. I bless you all with the ability to keep your heart open and agape love for yourselves first and foremost, in the energy field you're creating. All is Shanti.